Well, after nearly 13 years, OnePlus is saying peace out to North America and Europe. Sadly, this was inevitable. Maybe I'll do a whole retrospective deep dive into the brand's history and what led to this unceremonious farewell. Leave a like if you want to see that. OnePlus has had a bit of a roller coaster of a time here, to say the least, but they managed to launch some of my all-time favorites, like the 3T, the 7 Pro and 7T, the Open, even the 13, and now the 15. I thought I'd take a look at the 15 again, now that we've got a whole new set of circumstances at play here. And if you never gave OnePlus phones a chance, let's talk about why it might be a good idea to do so while the door is still barely ajar. When this phone launched, it took around, I'd say, 0.4 of a femtosecond for the internet to tear it to shreds for the downgrades it suffered. And it was par for the course here on the internet that I got accused of being a paid shill for coming to this phone's defense. OnePlus hasn't paid me since I went to Amarillo for that 72-ounce steak challenge, where I raced to finish 4.5 pounds of before the OnePlus 5T could finish charging from 0 to 100%. Almost a decade ago. Yeah, that was a real thing that actually happened.
I'm seriously blown away by that.
Anyway, point being, my stance was based on actual user experience, combating the viewpoint that relies solely on spec sheet numbers. So while the disappointment with what the phone lacks is justified to an extent, not once has that stopped me from picking it up and enjoying the absolute heck out of it. The principle behind why I like this phone so much also explains why I like the iPhone Air so much. It's just so nice to use. That's it. That's the tweet. At the risk of continuing to sound like a total shill, this is still one of my favorite finishes on a phone. The fiber reinforced plastic back and the aluminum frame's fancy schmancy micro arc oxidation whatever the heck coating are fantastic. Nothing has come close to this material combo for me so far this year, and I want more phones to adopt this. It's strong, and it's held up very well. Pair that with well-balanced weight distribution, crazy IP ratings, and OS fluidity that is second to none, and you've got an absolutely superb experience. Seriously, on some, by royal decree I hereby knight this phone, sir, swipes a lot, duke of no lag, baron of buttery smooth scrolling, I say unto thee, this operating system moveth with such grace and haste that mine own grandfather, rest his soul, would weep at its swiftness and demand to know which wizard hath bewitched this device. Sorry. For real though, it even had me doing that incredibly goofy animation speed test thing that Twitter nerds love doing. I just wish more games and apps supported 165Hz. And of course, EA just had to shut down the servers for pretty much the only 165Hz game that I would play, Real Racing 3. RIP. But with the few apps that do support it, man, it's smooth. Straight butter, even. Now, during heavy use, I thought that maybe I would run into some sort of overheating issues in this Texas summer heat, but nah, nothing so far anyway. It crushes gaming and emulation, multitasking, lots of photo taking, all that good stuff. The fingerprint scanner hasn't given me any issues, haptics are still nice and crisp and well utilized by the OS even with that smaller motor. The speakers left a lot to be desired at first, lacking the bass that I prefer, but they're totally fine, and they're well tuned, I gotta say. I have gotten used to the plus key, though I greatly miss the alert slider, and for some reason, I still can't customize the plus key to do what I want. It's still locked to these basic settings. Hop to it, y'all. Time to update this. Not a whole lot of notes on battery life because it's stupid. It's just plain dumb. Those are compliments, by the way. It'll spoil you like it spoiled me. Battery life on this thing is serious. That whole 2-day battery thing still exists for me. It just goes and goes and goes and goes. And I mean, a couple of minutes on the charger keeps the phone going for hours. It's just insane. You get the point. Oh, also, I know my eyesight is actively getting worse, but I quickly forgot that this is a 1.5K display, not 2K. What can I say? That spec doesn't bother me, and I think the screen looks pretty great. Everything's smart nowadays. Smart toaster, smart salt shaker, smart flip-flops. So when a chair calls itself adaptive, I expect to see a Bluetooth speaker glued to a cushion. Then see who sent me the Doro C300 Pro V2, and, well, It's actually a chair that I would call smart for real reasons, like it's legitimately adaptive. It's got this system called Dynacore that tracks your head, back, lumbar, and arms in real time. No matter what position you shift to, every part of the chair moves right along with you and stays fully fitted. Then there's Synchro Flex. The backrest and the lumbar cushion automatically contour to your back the second you sit down. No fiddling with knobs, no 15-minute setup routine. It just fits perfectly, even for different body types. The Dynamic Lumbar Support 2.0 has 3 adjustable levels, and it slides down with you as you recline, so you never lose that lower back support. Turn it up to level 3, and it even extends support down to your sacrum, delivering balanced, tailored pressure at every setting. The 8D bionic armrests move 8 different ways, so when you're typing, gaming, or suffering through a Zoom call, your elbows are chilling. It's BIFMA certified, reclines 135 degrees, and oh yeah, the thing is actually comfortable to sit in case you were wondering. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking about it. I've got a link down below for you if you're interested. Huge thanks to Sihu for supporting the channel and sponsoring this portion of today's video. Alright, so the cameras. Not a whole lot of notes here either, because, well, if the best cameras are what you're after, look elsewhere. If not, these cameras are nothing to be afraid of. I think they're perfectly fine, and they've gotten better with updates. They're actually good. Plus, I mean, you pull the phone out, snap a pic, share it, send it, move on. There are genuinely good features in here to take advantage of. Yeah, I know the cameras are not perfect, and it is very true that in certain scenarios and lighting conditions, you will see images start to fall apart. For a $900 phone, there's no question the camera's hardware should be better. But if you looked at those photo samples and thought, those would get the job done, then I think you'd be right. And I miss old Oxygen OS. I really do. It was awesome back then. But I can't lie to you, I do like the current version quite a bit as well. There are thoughtful little UI elements everywhere, like adaptive folders and icons, reachability assistance, the multitasking functionality is excellent, there's a good amount of customization, and there's a slew of useful things like motion cues, which legitimately helps me with my motion sickness in moving vehicles. There's the sidebar, the ability to quickly launch applications immediately after unlocking. Live alerts are useful, I just wish more applications took advantage of this. There's a small handful of AI-focused features if you're into that. I mean, the list goes on. I do have my gripes, like I wish I could expand notifications with 2 fingers like I can on the Pixel. Heck, I wish I could collapse the notification I expanded with 1 finger like I can on the Pixel. And picture-in-picture video just stops playing whenever I set a new wallpaper or icon color. It's super annoying. But the OS continues to get polished and refined with updates and new features being added. And it's looking like Oppo is working on a customization app similar to One UI's Good Lock. That would be pretty huge if they ended up creating a legit competitor because Good Lock is one of the biggest selling points of One UI. Let's hope they end up doing that. Gone are the days of the flagship killer. And that never settle slogan, well, it got sent to the shadow realm. Luckily, OnePlus is committed to keeping this phone updated and serviced under warranty as usual until its cycle is over. Oxygen OS will officially be swapped with Color OS and these phones will live happily ever after. Which honestly is still a decent amount of time. It doesn't hold a candle to Samsung and Google's 7-year OS update commitment, but it's certainly not nothing. These phones did not crush sales charts, but it's always been nice having another player in the mix touting some of the highest end specs, not playing it safe, and pushing the envelope for technological advancement. Also, OnePlus was like the only OEM that kept the IR blaster alive and kept shipping the complete charging set in the box. Anyway, it's a shame that the timing of this is what it is because I feel like OnePlus, after all of the ups and downs, we're just a couple of moves away from doing something special over here. That said, I do recommend you give this phone a shot while you still can. And if it's not for you, then that's okay too. This is easily one of the best phones you can get here in the States, and it has been nothing short of a joy to use. Well, OnePlus, sorry it had to end this way. It's been real, and thanks for the crazy adventures. Hey, you, I want to hear your thoughts. Let's talk. Drop a potato if you're part of the potato gang. You are so incredibly awesome. And thank you so much for watching.
What happened to you, my darling? What happened to you, my dear? The world, it keeps on revolving, even when it ain't crystal clear. No matter what happens through the days, the months, the years, whatever happened to you, my darling, I'll still be right here.
Yeah.